Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you're watching this show and podcast. It's morning for us. I'm Jeff Griffin, your host of Chamber Chat, president of the Peoria Area Chamber of Commerce and the CEO Council. Our guest today is Kristen Berchtold, director of development with the Southside Office of Concern.
All right. Good morning, or good afternoon, or
Right.
good evening, or whatever.
Whenever you're listening to it, Kristen. Well, thank you for taking the time to come down and chat with us here on Chamber Chat.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity.
You got it. We have a lot going on with Southside Office of Concern. Here we're in the holiday season and so forth, and it's got to be a busy time for you guys as well as everyone else. I've gotten to learn more about Southside Office of Concern just recently because of a big inaugural event you're having January 13th.
Yeah, we're super excited about it. It's called Gimme Shelter, and basically the concept is community members will be spending the night outside the Peoria Civic Center in a cardboard box from 6 p.m. on Friday night until 6 a.m. on Saturday morning. And they get to raise money for the privilege of doing so.
Right. So it's called Gimme Shelter.
Called Gimme Shelter.
January 13th is 12 hours, and as Kristen mentioned, I know about it because I was asked to participate, and I'm trying to fill in some of the details here. So how many of us will be out sleeping in the cardboard box?
Well, we are still recruiting. We're up to about 40 right now.
Okay.
The whole concept is to, number one, build awareness of homelessness in our community, which has a huge impact on our community.
Mm-hmm.
And also to just give people a little taste of what it might like to be homeless in Central Illinois in the middle of January.
Yeah.
You're going to do it for one night, but there are families out there that have to deal with that every single night all winter long.
Right. And so here's the thing I have, and I'll just be brutally honest about signing up for this. First of all, it's a great cause for a very unfortunate and terrible epidemic we have in our country and in Peoria. I work downtown, and you can see the homeless challenge every single day. So I felt personally, I don't know, sanctimonious is the wrong word. I feel kind of guilty, right? So I'm doing this 12-hour in a box thing, and then by the end of my 12 hours, I get to go home to a warm shower and a meal and so forth, right?
Absolutely.
But our homeless people, so I'm doing it. I'm not criticizing the cause. I think it's great. But I just kind of felt like I'm putting on a show, but some people with their families and children are living on the streets every night. Today, it's 20 degrees outside today and dropping.
Right. And a part of the whole thing too is to just build some community awareness and to do some education, because I think there are a lot of myths out there surrounding homelessness. You have a certain picture of a homeless person maybe in your mind that isn't always correct. Let me ask you this: what do you think is the average age of a homeless person?
You know what? I'm cheating because I've heard
this
recently.
already?
No, but I when I was originally asked that question, I was thinking 50s, 40s, 50s.
Right,
but the
right.
actual thing is much lower because of the children affected.
Nine.
Nine.
I mean, and there were the superintendent of schools counted 850 homeless children in Peoria and Tazewell counties last year. And that just breaks my heart. You think about where we want our kids to go to school and learn and grow and build the tools to succeed, and how can they do that if they don't know even where they're sleeping at night?
Right.
Another huge piece of homelessness is mental health. Probably about half your homeless population has some type of serious mental health issue that they're dealing with that's contributing to that situation.
Right, or a result of, or somewhere in between. And you have all the challenges of life, and then you don't have proper shelter, and then trying to take care of children. And then the veteran population is part of our homeless is high as well. Is correct?
Absolutely. Actually, there's a larger, compared to just the general population, there are, we own and operate one facility specifically for homeless vets with mental illness. And I can tell you that probably 80-90% of the guys come through there, their mental health issue is PTSD. So it's directly related to their service to our country.
Correct. And that's something we should, as a country, certainly not be proud of. We need to be proud of the men and women who serve our country and allow us our freedoms, and now it's time for us in any way we can to take care of them. So the Gimme Shelter, January 13th is the Friday, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. We're out there sleeping in cardboard boxes. How do people get involved? You said you're still recruiting folks. How do people get involved if they want to participate or be a donor to to the project.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways folks can participate. Like I said, we're still looking for folks that are willing to tough it out for the night in a box. If that's not your cup of tea, we also have volunteer. You know, we'll need a lot of volunteers to put the event on. So we're looking for volunteer
And where do people
support.
find you if they want to
You
volunteer?
can find all the information on our website, which is www.ssocpeoria.org.
SSOC Peoria. So
And from there, you can donate, you can volunteer, you can sign up to participate.
Gotcha. So, just to level set here, the to participate in the commitment, I think I'm challenged to raise $1,000, and I have and we're going to attach it to this podcast when we send it out. I have my portal for people to go in and learn a little bit about why Jeff Griffin wants to do it. I think I'm up to $250 towards my $1,000 goal, which I can exceed. So we're trying to drive towards that. But also SSOC, Southside Office of Concern, ssocpeoria.org. All the information you need is right there. Now, in addition, are we going to be building the boxes, or the boxes come to us?
We're actually very, very fortunate. Sherman's is one of our sponsors.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
In addition to providing cash sponsorship, they've also been saving refrigerator boxes for us for the past 6 months or so.
So here's an important thank you, Paul Sherman and the Sherman's team, for that donation. Go out there and buy some new refrigerators,
Right,
so we can have some empty cardboard
and you'll be
boxes.
surprised. It's one of the bigger challenges is finding that many refrigerator boxes. A lot of fridges don't come in boxes anymore. They're end capped and shrink wrapped, and but fortunately, because Sherman's has a distribution center right here in town, they have some that come through there and have been saving them for us.
So we're going to be around the Civic Center January 13th. Are there other, like, for the general public to come down? Is there a program associated with it, or prayer vigil? What are we doing?
There'll be a number of different things going on. Earlier in the evening, starting about 7, we'll have different educational presentations around the issue of homelessness. Things like veterans and homelessness, and families and homelessness, and mental illness and homelessness, and the criminal justice system and homelessness. Those are free. They're inside the Civic Center. You don't have to be outside to hear those, but it's an opportunity to stop in and learn a little bit about homelessness.
Okay.
That'll be going on. We'll have radio stations broadcasting.
Okay.
We're gonna have we'll be showing movies and other things throughout the night. So anybody that wants to come in and get out of the cold for a while, have a cup of coffee, can hang out inside and.
Right. So I mean, this is I keep not dwelling on this, but I've been thinking about this, and as folks have been generous supporting my link to donate. I'll be honest, it has really it's been a sobering. I'm viewing this inaugural event. We're not down there having a carnival or anything.
Right.
We are down there raising money for a very important cause. And at the same time, I feel like it's going to be a very prayerful, spiritual exchange with the community, and like you said, not only the awareness, but being grateful for what we have, and really thinking about our fellow citizen and how we can help.
Yeah, and really we should as a community. I mean, homelessness affects this community in so many ways.
Absolutely.
It costs us, I think it's an appropriate topic for the chamber because it costs us as a community. If you deal, typically you're paying for homelessness through your tax dollars, whether it's police, fire, ambulance, all those really, really expensive emergency services. So the model that Southside Office of Concern does, our whole purpose is to end homelessness by putting people in homes.
Right.
So the whole idea is get people off the streets, put them somewhere safe, into a permanent home, and then help them stay there. That kind of a solution costs 1/3 of what those other expensive emergency services
And you're exactly
do.
right. And we look at that. We look at those figures all the time. And Chamber of Commerce is a recognizable brand for 100 years. Sometimes I think our future is being called a chamber of community, right? Because the non-for-profits and the churches and the schools are all part of our Chamber of Commerce. And then we have the businesses that want to be supportive of the community. So when you mentioned 850 homeless children in Peoria Public Schools.
Peoria and Tazewell County.
Okay, so these kids are our future, and
They
if we're not taking care of them, who is? And for whatever reason, they're in this situation, and not only do we want to keep people in Peoria, keep Peoria, Tazewell County growing, but take care of our fellow person so they can have a decent life.
Right. And, you know, and a big part of the issue, I mean, the primary cause of homelessness is just a lack of affordable housing.
Right.
You know, and so we're really looking at long-term solutions and how do we address that? How do we develop more affordable housing stock so that we can get people
Right.
off the street and in the heart.
It's a
into
very complex
homes.
issue. It's easy to, like you mentioned earlier, kind of the stereotypes or the generalizations. It's not that. It's a lot of revolving door stuff where people fall on hard times and
Oh
can't
yeah,
get
I
out
mean,
of
just
that.
think about it. You know, if you look at just the fair market value of rental properties in our community, you know, if you are working a minimum wage job, you have to work like something like 74 hours to afford a halfway decent apartment. Well, if you're a single mom with a couple of kids and your kids get sick and you can't go to work a few days and you lose your job and you're spending
just an
70,
avalanche.
80% of your income just for your housing, it's just not sustainable. You're
Right.
basically one car accident or medical crisis away from homelessness, and that's what we see happening over and over again.
Right. All right. So in addition to Gimme Shelter on the 13th, what else do you guys have going on? Any other programs you want the listeners and viewers to know about?
Um, Absolutely. You know, our whole purpose and what really distinguishes the Southside Office of Concern from other I mean, we have a lot of excellent agencies in our community that are helping the homeless population, but we are really honestly the only one that is focused solely on long-term solutions. Our whole thing is we need to get people off the streets and we need to put them in homes.
Right.
Because what they found is that folks that have a roof over their heads and are safe and warm are much more better equipped to deal with whatever issues they're facing in their life.
No, it's the lowest common denominator, obviously, and it's a sin that we have so many people struggling with that because these aren't folks that want to be homeless or want to be living off the government. You know, the people that want to take care of their families, that want to take care of their children, and we need to be there to support them. Folks, we're wrapping up. This feels like a very quick segment. We have so much to talk
fast.
about, right? But we've had Kristen Birchtold, Director of Development of the Southside Office of Concern, talking to us about Gimme Shelter, inaugural event, January 13th. If you want to learn more about it, please visit their website, ssocpeoria.org, Southside Office of Concern, peoria.org. And then we're going to, like I said, we're going to attach my link. If you want to go ahead and sponsor me in this effort or sponsor others, all the money goes to the same cause. And Kristen, as we wrap up, anything else you want the viewers to know? We're going to have you back because we have a lot to talk about.
Sure. I'd just like to thank you for being willing to participate. We've worked really hard to get some of our leaders in the community to bring attention to the issue. You're going to have some good company. Sheriff McCoy is going to be there.
Okay.
We're working on Mayor Artis. We've got Randy Rendell and some different media personalities. So it's important that the community sees that you support the effort as well, and we thank you for that.
No, it's my pleasure. I appreciate being asked, and like I said, this is kind of viewing this as it's different than some of the events we do where we're lofting balloons and so forth. There's really nothing to celebrate here other than the community spirit to help, right?
Right,
So that's
right.
that's what we're really driving at. So, folks, thank you for joining us on Chamber Chat. It's PeoriaLife.com. I'm Jeff Griffin, and we'll see you at the next episode. Thank you.
All righty.